Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate some of our favorites in TV and film. I am your host, Xavier, and today, once again, hosted by my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists. I'm joined by them because we're actually, in order to go forward and talk about Tron Ares, we have to actually go back, a little bit way back to 1982 to watch the pioneering film that is Tron. It's like you pull it up and it's Disney, but Buena Vista Films or Buena Vista Pictures. And you're going back, real back. So it's cool because Tron nowadays has been such a big like pop culture standard in terms of like tech stuff, as well as the pioneering it did in films. A lot of people love like the light cycles and the cool stuff that came out of the movie, the visual aesthetics. Jeff Bridges just being Jeff Bridges, and a couple other really cool stuff through the movie. So I'm really excited to talk about Tron today with Anthony, Danny, and Zach. It's going to be really fun. Kind of going right into it, get digitized right into the movie. Thankfully, by this time, Disney has released on Disney Plus the 4K versions of both Tron and Tron Legacy. So that gave us the perfect opportunity to go back and, at least for Anthony and I, rewatch it. And I think all of us here seen it before? I don't know if Zach has seen it before, honestly.
No, this was the first time that I ever saw the original one.
The first time.
Same for me.
And then wait, now here's the fun part. Zach, have you ever played Kingdom Hearts 2?
I haven't gotten to it yet, no.
Okay. Anthony and I think are the ones who had. Okay. Because if you go play Kingdom Hearts 2, Danny, you did?
Yeah, but I don't
and
remember.
And you're like, what is this? Why is there a weird world why is it called Space Paranoids? I don't understand this.
Which I actually want to replay because I want to get the references.
Well, yeah, now you get the references. It all will make sense now. But, movie, I remember seeing like either reruns of it or seeing like the VHS set, and it's just Tron with Lori like just with Yori like just like on like next to her, like doing like the Luke Skywalker Star Wars pose, but he has like the data disc and all the colors, like the neon blues and reds, were just really like, whoa, this is so cool. But I never really got to like really watch it from beginning to end until like I think sometime like during college when I was able to just kind of go out on my own and watch it. I know it's like with Zach being there, knows the first time, like I've always find myself like with a group of somebody who had never seen it before. So I know like a long time ago, Anthony and I were at a friend of ours' house and we watched the movie before watching Tron Legacy. And so now with Tron Ares getting a lot of hype, we are, it's been perfect. Like I said before, it's a perfect chance to get back to it and kind of see like what makes this stand out as sort of like that like cult classic, but a kind of like, slightly ahead of its time movie, but still with that like little bit of corniness and like slightly, slight charm. I don't know how to describe it other than that. I think half of that has to come from Jeff Bridges. He's just too good. But like especially going like bringing in first before I bring in Zach's Anthony, like, do you remember like the first time you watched this movie, or like your impression of the movie the first time you saw it?
Yeah, I mean, I did not. Obviously, it came out before I was born, and I didn't really watch it until maybe a few years before Legacy came out. And so, it was a long time from when it came out that I actually got into it. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, like I can see why when people saw this in 1982, like how it was probably like revolutionary and like, oh wow, this is like cutting edge technology at the time, because like even for like me and Xavier and for people our age, that's like what we were thinking when we saw Jurassic Park or Terminator 2, because that was like the next turning point of CGI. But this was like a decade earlier when CGI was at its like pretty much its earliest and roughest in movies. So yeah, I was I could tell it was an older movie in the 80s. but I still enjoyed it, and yeah, I also like appreciated it for like what it was able to do and how they were able to do it. Because some of that stuff, I'm like yeah, sure, it looks some of it looks cheap, but if you don't know how they did it, it still is impressive. You're like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool, and it's really cool. I really enjoyed the designs. So I mean, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's not. I think I like Legacy better overall as a movie, but it's still really cool to go back and see, and also to watch like the making and behind the scenes of it, how they did everything.
Yeah, that to me is like a part of that thing too. Like watching it and then watching it completely from beginning to end. I like it was like yeah again like early college years. So like maybe 15 years ago or something like that. Like it was like one of those where like, man, I can appreciate why this was such a big step back in the day. It was like a pretty big risk for Disney to do. Like, hey, we're gonna experiment and try something like this. And the way the movie is presented, it's basically to give a good rundown of the movie is it's a guy who used to be a like top computer programmer who's basically now like bumming it out in his own arcade. He gets recruited by these two workers at this company, Encom, to figure out what is going on with this one master control program that's kind of slowly turning it. It's sort of like the precursor to all the AI stuff going on. It's basically a program that has learned and learned and learned and gotten smarter and more self aware to the point where it's like, I'm bored dealing with corporate computer machines. I want to break into governments and stuff. So um, that computer's master control program's not out of control. And so you need the main characters with the help of a program that Alan, one of the guys that came to recruit Jeff Bridges' character, Kevin Flynn, to his program Tron is supposed to be like, hey, I gotta keep the master control program on lock. So he's supposed to be like the an ultimate like protector program. So what's cool about the movie is it does this whole anthropomorphization of computer things to kind of like make it more relatable, especially since early 80s like computers are just wild and untapped frontier. So they were using a lot of these ways to kind of visualize what like input output sources are, like what programs were. Like you have that one line where Flynn tells I think Ram and Tron like that, or no, it was Ram, that hey, like computer programs and people are very similar because they all run off of routines and stuff. And so it was a way to like kind of like make things relatable, but at the same time you saw like characters that are in the real world, their programs are like their digitized versions inside the whole computer grid of Encom. So that helped guide and understand the story, and it also gave the actors like two parts to play. So I think that was always fun and exciting to me, and like when you'd have people writing code, that was like their way of like talking to their program. So you have that in the movie too, where Tron's like, or Alan goes to Tron's like, this data disk is what you need to kill or to take out the MCP. We can't talk until you get back because whatever. And it's just the twist is that Encom has this like digitizing laser, and because the MCP is scared of Kevin Flynn, he digitizes Kevin Flynn into the computer program. So that's why you have like this whole thing of like, whoa, like a real person in the computer world, what can they do? And then shenanigans ensue, as they like to say. So the kind of flipping it over, since Zach, Zach, this is your first time watching it. Overall, with the new fandangled technology of the 2020s, what was it like watching this movie?
I mean, I definitely feel like it felt like it was an old video game, like a movie, or I don't know how to really describe it, but like the movie looked like a video game. It looked like what you would expect from like wireframe type of stuff. Like that's what it looked like.
Yeah, even like
Um,
the recognizers or the and the light cycle like battles like had that like grid wireframe kind of look to it.
yeah, and when I think of like that aspect of the movie, I can recall going on like these these game websites that you would typically go to when you're in elementary school, middle school, whatever. And I've played clones of the Light Cycle game, and when I watched the movie, that was like the first thing I thought of it. Like it brought me back to like the mid 2000s where I would play a bunch of Light Cycle clone games, which were pretty fun. I wasn't that good at them, but they were fun. And
yeah, like the Light Cycle is like one of those things. I was just like, you saw it and you're like, whoa! Like they just have the handle, and now they're in a motorcycle or like a light cycle. It's so cool.
And then like the way that the movie looked too, like aside from like that wireframe aesthetic, I thought it was pretty cool how they did some of the effects, like especially with like the glowing suits that they wore. Because I know you mentioned or at least like before we were recording, saying like the rotoscoping that they did with the light. I honestly thought that they were wearing some sort of like layer of reflective material underneath the outer parts of the suit. Like like the parts of the suit that were like the armor or like the plastic like shell of the outside, and then in between the different panels of the helmet and the suit and whatnot, that they were wearing some sort of reflective material that when you shine a light from like an angle, it'll reflect back like whatever color they wanted, like the blue one or the amber color ones or red, whatever color it was. But then when you said rotoscoping, I was like, okay, I kind of now can see what he's talking about, because you can see the imperfections with with how the light was emitting off of the suits.
Yeah. And even
you
now,
can
the
see where
4K version,
it
you
kind
could
of
see it.
clips.
Like you could see more detail of it for better or for worse, even. But yeah, I get you. Go ahead.
No, yeah, just to say that like you can see like some of the imperfections where some of the paneling from the helmet and the suit would kind of clip through, or not clip through, but you get like this weird like
where it's kind of going like in and out almost, like
not in and out, more like pieces of it were like morphing together. Like I don't know if you've ever like held your index finger and your thumb really close to your eye, and then you look at a light and you can kind of see where when your fingers touch, it creates like this weird like warped I don't know how to describe it. Like if you tried it right now, you would see what I'm talking about. It creates like this uh I don't know what would you call it, but that's what I was getting. Or that's what I would observe, where points would touch like not touch, but they would morph into each other and kind of break that illusion of like, oh, it's not really like a glowing material or reflective material. It's something that the VFX artists had to go in and rotoscope uh, as best as they could to really sell that effect of the glowing, which I mean, again, like you were saying, in 4K, you can nitpick all the imperfections of it, but it did stand out enough where I was uh, like I kept having to look at it and question it a lot, but it was good for it's good for the time. It's good for the 80s.
Yeah, man, it's a 40. Wait, it's a 43-year-old movie. Now, when you think about it.
Yeah, I believe they filmed, if not all of it, most of it, like in black. Like the studios that they were in was all black, and their suits were white and black with all the
so it could
spaces for
reflect. Yeah.
right. And then apparently, because I watched some of the behind the scenes, that they when they were doing the editing, they would pretty much have like 5 different passes that they would stitch together to get like the final product. Because it was like, okay, we're gonna use the black areas of this section and then combine it with the white areas of this section, and then they have solely the actors' faces in another plate, and then they would combine these 5 different plates to get like the final image for each like frame of the movie.
Yeah, now add all that together for about an hour and a half, and then
Yeah.
you get an hour and a
Seems
half
like a lot of
feature
work.
film. That's a lot of work. Yeah.
not the whole movie, because maybe like the first
Oh yeah, the
30 minutes or
first
so
and
is
the
not
end of the
in
movies are it's
in
all
the
live
computer.
action. Yeah, in the real world. I keep forgetting about that.
And then I don't know if we mentioned, because we were also talking about it beforehand, but there's only about like 20 minutes of CGI in the movie.
Yeah, the rest is that like practical
Yeah.
layering that Anthony's talking about. And you see that even for like even with the costumes, like they still have this stuff and there's still some detail. Like so the sort of like secondary villain of the movie is this guy named Edward Dillinger, who's like a senior executive VP who basically stole Kevin Flynn's ideas, and he created, or at least helped maintain and give access to the Master Control Program, or MCP. And that guy, he has another program in the grid called SARC that is the same actor. But then also the MCP is a distorted voice of the actor David Warner, which
Yeah, so
I
it's so
remember.
it's like three
Yeah,
different
yeah,
roles.
he's a voiceover for one guy and then two other characters. For me, it's funny because like as Dillinger starts realizing he's communicating with the MCP, and the MCP's like, "Hey, I'm bored. I need to I'm gonna do all this new stuff, and I think I could run everything more efficiently than everybody else because humans are stupid, and I'm bored. Like no one's able to really give me a challenge." And then he starts freaking out, and he's like, "Dillinger, give me those Chinese files I wanted." End of line. Like towards that part, like once he starts asserting his dominance over Dillinger, like he just starts like asking for these requests, and always ends with the end of line message. Like to me, that was always like a stamp of like, yeah, suck. Like you have to take this. Like you're mine now. You answer to me. And it sounded so cold. Just end of line. And he's like,
Look at me.
okay,
I'm
don't
the
kill
captain
me.
now.
Basically, yeah, I'm the captain now. I am NCOM now. But that creates some really cool like situations, but where like even the MCP is like typing out to Kevin Flynn like, "Hey, like what are you doing here?" And then, "Oh man, like you can't whatever." Like they get into a little like like a little whatever like fight, and Flynn starts programming him impossible questions, like basically like impossible math problems for the MCP to like just try to like stall himself out. And then that's when the MCP is like, "Okay, you're coming into my world with the digitizer." Um, what else? But like the whole movie, like from beginning to end, like the plot's very very paper thin, simple, but it's meant to. It's to me, it's kind of like this whole like slight tech demo of what's possible or what we want to do, and at the same time, like it's just like a fun sci-fi story with that just had really cool visuals, and was a vehicle for that kind of thing. So it was props to Disney for starting it up.
I feel like I was
Um,
just, at least while watching this, I was very just focused on the visuals, and like I feel like the plot and the story I was kind of like having in the background, but like I would stop every so often. I'll be like, huh, that's like interesting choice of like how they chose to do these graphics and like effects and stuff. So it was cool to watch for that sense.
Yeah, like even when they try to make sort of like this is like a town or a city, we have all those other programs just kind of like wandering around with like not
Chilling,
much
yeah.
purpose, chilling. Yeah, like Flynn's like, "What the hell is this?" And even Tron's like, "Oh, I gotta not be seen." But I also liked how like there's a whole like reverence for the users. Like, yeah, but the users made us. Like, we have a connection to them. That's why like the actual programs look like they're users. And it's cool how there's all like, no one needs to be believing in the users, only believe in the MCP. If you believe in the users, you're gonna get substandard training for the games, or we're just gonna kill you anyway. Like we're just gonna make it sporting. And but if you like swear loyalty to MCP, you'll be part of the Vanguard or whatever. But then you have Tron whooping everybody senseless. That like, he's like the king of highlight and disc wars. Like he's too good. Like there were some moves, like I don't know, Anthony, if you noticed, there was one move where like he threw at one guy, but like the disc faked him out, so he got mind gamed into like blocking, and
Yeah,
then like
how do you even prepare for that?
yeah, like that's busted. Like
Like
you have
it
to
like
just react.
the other guy was like, "Oh, I know geometry," and he was expecting it to come, and it like stops right before it hits him, and
It
then
did like
it
a
mind games
double
him.
looping of back
Yeah, it
around
was
him,
like
and he's like, "Ah,
circle,
get wrecked."
circle, midair,
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna hit you. I was like, wait a minute, How do you command your disc to do that?
Because Tron is broken. He
Okay.
fights for the users, obviously. That's what
Tron
makes him the
skills.
best. He fights for the users. I love how like it's like cheesy, but it's not like cheesy. It's kind of like charming cheesy, the movie overall. Like when they escaped off of the wall from the light cycle and they get to that cave and they're drinking like the water
Mhm.
and then like, hey, put a cork in it. Flynn, we gotta go. And he's like, oh, I can't. He's just still like trying to just like top himself off or whatever. I thought that was fun. That was like pretty funny. But
I'm gonna compare to something, and maybe you guys don't see it, but I feel like I was just thinking about it the whole time. Uh, I have it compared to Star Wars Episode 4 and like Rogue One in a way. Just
Rogue One, interestingly, okay.
yeah.
And what I get
Well,
episode 4. I actually
mainly episode
100%
4.
get episode 4. I'm like
Like,
Rogue One.
well, the Rogue One was more so like, oh, like trying to get the plans to like for the Death Star, but you know, in
Yeah,
here
like
it's
they
like you're
gotta
trying
find
to
their
get
way the
to
discs
that
to the MCP.
MPC
Yeah.
MCP, yeah. But mainly like Star Wars Episode 4 and like, you know, um some of the visuals too, kind of like I feel like when they're going down like flying through the Death Star to try to shoot the missile.
Mhm.
I feel like that type of like shot was here for some of
Oh
the
yeah. No, I think you're right. There was a lot. I think remember Star Wars was so big, so they were trying to
yeah.
like a lot of people were trying to do space opera, but
Well,
at least
when
was
did
that Tron got to do its own like, hey, we're gonna do it instead of like out in space, we're gonna do it inside a
In the
computer.
computer.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi come out?
83.
83.
Okay, so right after this movie, because the part of the end of this movie, kind of like what you're saying, Danny, that there's some iconography when they get to like the central hub, that final tower where the program is.
Mhm.
There's sections that look like the inside of the Death Star from Return of the Jedi when they had to blow it up from the inside. And so
Mm.
it's
Mhm.
pretty. I find that
Oh
pretty
yeah.
funny that this came out before Return of the Jedi. I wonder if George Lucas took took a look at any of these of their storyboards beforehand, like prior to him finishing Return of the
Like a
Jedi.
lot of the geometry stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool like some of those things where like you could see like movies carry like similar things around that time like I don't know, you could tell like this movie was from the 80s like it was interesting.
So
That's right. Yeah.
for an 80s movie, how did you like it, Zach? Because I know some 80s movies you tend not to like them as much because you kind of find them a little cheesy.
I I don't really think it would it or at least I don't think it had like the classic 80s cheesiness
The
that I
cheese
come to
factor.
expect. Like the cheese wasn't there, but I would say more so in just the look of the movie was what made it like, oh yeah, this is 80s. But I didn't get that much of the 80s cheese that I've come to expect from watching some of these movies from that period.
I feel like it had very minimal cheese like at some points, but not as heavy as like some other movies that we've made Zach watch.
That's true. Yeah. But like
Yeah,
it was just the right amount. Like okay, so the
mild
part
cheddar.
in the light
It was
cycle
mild
run,
cheddar.
so sorry, in the light cycle like game that they were playing when they realized, "Oh yeah, let's break through the hole and get the heck out of here." Like the one like enemy program that they were racing against, how they bone sawed him at the end. They're like they go, "So long, sucker." I was like, "Damn, that guy's dead." Like like,
They just
like
squeezed them out.
yeah, they squeezed him out and hit him with that line. I was like, "Damn, dude." He didn't do him like, but he did. The other parts I thought, like, are there any cool parts to you that stood out? I don't know. There's a lot of these that it's great that I rewatched it now, but there were little things that I always remembered, like Dillinger speaking to the MCP and basically realizing he's no longer in charge, but uh, a lot of the Kevin Flynn stuff. But I want you guys to list some of your favorites.
Yeah, I like the light cycle sequence. I
I
thought
was
that
gonna
was a
say
lot of
the
fun.
same.
Like the beginning of the game, right? Like at least because they had it. They I think remember they had it first in the beginning of the movie. Like they showed like, oh, he's playing like someone's playing the game, and then
Yeah.
they actually play it in there, which is cool because Flynn's like, oh, they tell Flynn like they're gonna make you play games, and he just goes over. He's like, games, okay, whatever, and they all look at him like, who is this guy? And then he starts, he is actually too good. Like he's even good at the highlight, where he's like, I don't
Well,
want to be good at the highlight, but let me try this out, and then accidentally
The
murders
highlight
this
was
guy.
really interesting too.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, I think he said he's like, "Oh, so this is how it's like on the other side."
Yeah, because
So that
he keeps thinking he's like, dude, I'm in a dream. This can't be real. Like, I want to
Or
tell
yeah,
my friends.
he said it's easier. He's like it's much easier on the other side.
Yeah, it's much easier on the other side. And then instead of him like having to actually like physically work, because Flynn's just in his arcade, just chumming it up with like teenagers and breaking high scores and being a cool guy. But it like the whole point where he has his like little bachelor pad above the arcade. I thought that was really funny too, and but it's cool because then you also get his backstory. It's just like, oh, like I was like one of the top guys. I created a whole bunch of these games. I created Space Paranoids, and the light cycle stuff, and I got basically stolen. So that gives him the whole mission of let's go in there and kick out Dillinger, but also see what the heck is up with this MCP thing. And it's
I
funny,
really like
yeah, good.
the scene when the MCP puts Flynn in the game. Like the laser beam gets him, and the
oh, and
whole
it like
you see
yeah,
like the detail of it, like essentially scanning his whole body and then just like bringing it into the game. Yeah, that was a really cool effect. And
Yeah. Or the torture scene he did with Clue. Like that part always freaks me out. He's like, I'm not
yeah,
talking.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he's like, just like, okay, buddy, like, hit this wall and like get de-resed.
yeah. They had a
Subject
couple of
to.
those
No, I think. What about the fight between Tron and Sark?
at the end. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's a cool fight.
Trying
But
was like,
like,
you don't know about my frisbee skills.
yeah, which funny because you could tell the prop is legit a frisbee. It's great. Like.
Oh
You could
yeah.
just see it, but it's not like ew, it's a look at that, it's a frisbee. It's like, yeah, this is a
No, like
frisbee.
they used the frisbee to like scoop up the water in that scene.
Yeah, after they broke out and were running away from the tanks. Which, by the way, that one guy got wrecked because he got pushed off by the other one
Oh,
off the cliff.
I really liked the design of the inside of the tanks, where it's just
Yeah,
like the one person sitting, and it's like the whole set kind of like keeps turning while like they're in the seat, and there's just like designed cool lights galore, and it's
they're
all
like
red.
green and everything too. Yeah, or
Yeah,
like the
they're
cockpit of the
different colors.
recognizer.
There's different ones that are different colors, and it's just really cool how they did it.
I always thought like the recognizer was really cool. Like when Flynn's flying it, like he kind of like uses
Oh yeah,
his
because
user powers.
he used his powers to turn it on. That was
Yeah,
cool.
and then heck, he's driving it, and it's like this whole like big ship thing, and it is a cool little thing. What about you, Danny? What other parts that were pretty cool?
um, I mean, I liked all the light cycle stuff, and um, but there was when they're like escaping from the tanks or whatever those things were. Um, and they were kind of like going through that one little like alleyway with the tanks following them, and then one like bumps into the other, and the tank falls. Like
Yeah,
some of those fun sequences were pretty cool.
yeah, like and Anthony said, like the designs of the shapes and the recognizers, they're really cool. Like
Mhm.
they're like sort of like that.
Unique.
Oh, it's like unique, iconic. The colors are just like that, like sharp red. Some of the light cycles were orange, so it was a little strange, but still
Oh,
really cool.
I also liked how they did the whole like with the suits, how it changes from the blue to the red and then kind of like orange in the between. And
Yeah, I like that they have those hues between red to blue to red, and you have like stuff
Mhm.
in the middle. Yeah. And like that was you could see it most when Flynn changed color. He's like, "How did I change color?" And then like accidentally murdered that other guy.
Yeah.
He looked at, he's kind of like, "Oh, sorry, but I gotta find Tron again." Um,
And the one guy that just jumps on his own.
oh, that one guy was like, "No, get out of here! Like, I'm out." Like that
He's
was
like, "Don't
around the
worry,
time
I'll do it."
yeah, that was when Yori was stealing the Solar Sailor simulation, and they're riding the kind of like information beam, and that's where Flynn's like, "Get me up, dude! Like, I'm not dead." Yeah, that was pretty dope. But that whole time he's kind of like sneaking next to like Sark or nearby. It's not like, hey, that's the guy I was looking for. That's the guy that MCP told me to get rid of. Um, I liked how like after the one accounting program uh was killed by Sark in the highlight game, he has the one button over like, do I just kill him now? Like I want to just kill him now, and then like the MCP's voice in his head is like, damn, no, the MCP said this, I have to do it. But what's funny is that actor David Warner. I had obviously watching this movie completely later on in life is like, oh, cool, it's that guy. The reason why I know that guy is because he's from Teenage Mutant Ninja
Ninja
Turtles
Turtles
2
2.
and all Star Trek. But like Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles 2. Yeah, like that guy was just like in a whole bunch of little things. I was always like, oh man, that's that Warner. Like he was really cool.
Oh,
Yeah, he,
what? I like that part where it's them three. It's Tron, it's Flynn, and what's the lady's name? Laura.
Yori.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So in the computer world, yeah. So that's Yori.
right. When they're on the, I guess it's like a transport ship, and they're like on that line that they're following,
Yeah.
and
The
then
Solar
they're
Sailor. Yeah.
right, and then they're getting chased, and then like there, I guess there was something that they were gonna crash into, and then last minute, Flynn's like, "Let me use my powers," and he just randomly like extends the track and like connects it to another track, and then I think the recognizers behind them just like ended
They
up
got wrecked
crashing.
by that
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, it was cool. Like
Yeah. That was more
this man's
flexing
just
of the.
making stuff on. He's just making stuff up on the fly.
Yeah, because he's literally the programmer.
He's
So
the
since he has the
creator.
power of programming, then it's like, yeah, let's do it this way. Yeah, it's pretty wild actually. Yeah, when you think about it, it's like, oh, okay, like this is pretty cool stuff that you could do. But
Was I the other one that got Zordon vibes from
with
Mm, mm.
MCP,
MCP?
oh yeah, no, I did too. But
Especially at
like
the end,
Evil
like
Zordon,
when they showed MCP like within the game world, it was just like a huge face talking to
exactly.
people.
He was just a a chess program back in the day, which I thought was cool too, because like like Flynn and MCP used to play chess against each other, and it goes to show you that like, oh yeah, like he's not like Flynn isn't like this like himbo just like, hey, I'm cool and I made some games there, and I go like, he's like legitimately smart. He's just like kind of a slacker too. I always like that. But then also I liked Alan slash Tron too, because that's kind of like your like stoic good guy. And he was pretty like for the kind of like fighting that he was doing, he was pretty badass. Like the kill shot he did on Sark was crazy. Like it just like broke his data disk. And then like it kind of like grazed over. I don't know if it like it cut the data disk and then like also cut part of his head. I thought that was kind of gnarly, but I don't know if I saw that right. Or I always
Yeah,
remember that.
it did hit part of his head, I feel. Like kinda like cut it.
I mean, it kind of left like a pretty big gash looking,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay, perfect.
mark.
Yeah, because I was like, dude, that's freaking cool. Yeah, I always thought I was like, that is too damn cool. What else? Um, Anthony talked about the digitizer and
The
MCP.
the music was okay. I feel like for a lot of scenes there was zero music. It was just like kind of like that background like humming
Tone.
sound from like the game world. Yeah, it was just like a
Kinda.
tone in the background, yeah. And
I
so a
feel
lot
like
of the scenes
mainly
where they're just talking to each other, it's just like silence with that tone in the background.
the
Yeah, I
first
get what you
half
mean.
I
Yeah.
felt was very lacking in the music, but I mean, I guess it's part of the vibe.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I know like Wendy Carlos, she did a lot of like a lot of that kind of like synthesizer music. They were popular like in the 70s and 80s. So like that was again more like the pioneering type. Deep down, I want to say it's hard to, like associate Tron without thinking of Daft Punk. But we'll talk about that when we talk about Tron Legacy next time. But I
Yeah,
think like it's just the
it's
music came out back then. It had that like quirky computery, techno sound. Not like, yeah. Again, what we get later on is something else entirely. I won't go too far into that, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Like in terms of the score, like the music soundtrack.
I mean, kind of everything is hard to go from watching Tron Legacy and then going backwards to this.
Yeah,
Definitely do it the
a
Yes,
other
whole
way.
lot
it's a
more
very big
blacks in
upgrade.
Tron Legacy. Yeah, this one
Very
seemed
big
like the whites stood out. Like the white colors of obviously of the suits and stuff, like they stand out more. And like again, the plot is simpler. There's just this whole thing. Hey, stop the MCP who may end up wanting to wreak havoc in the real world. So that kind of like had a twofold thing too. So stop Ed Dillinger, stop MCP. Everybody is friends at the end. And then Kevin Flynn flies in with a helicopter again because he's cool. He's a cool guy now.
So the
It was a subtle ending at the end. Like,
a lot of '80s movies ended like that, where it's
yeah.
kind of like an abrupt like, "Hooray!"
Oh,
Like the
okay,
movie's
done.
over.
Yeah, we did it. We
It's like
don't worry. Ed
it was
Dillinger went to
very,
jail or something.
a very Jackie Chan movie ending.
Like
Yeah,
you could figure it out.
exactly. Corporate espionage, that guy right to jail. He's done.
Straight to
Alan
jail.
has been promoted. Laura promoted. Like everybody's fine because we stopped it all.
I wonder if
Yeah, like
Tron ever found out that his girlfriend kissed Flynn.
I know, right? Like you're not because that's weird because it's like it's like how she had a like Laura in the real world used to date Flynn. Now she's dating Alan, and now it
Mhm.
was kind of like not the reverse, but it's kind of like okay, cool. Hey, I care for Tron, but also this guy Flynn's a user. Like, look at that guy. Like he's something,
Yeah,
something else.
she's
Speaking,
two-timing.
yeah. Speaking of two timing, one character that only did two timing was the Bit. That guy.
Yes, 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 yes.
I love the part where like
No,
he's
no, no,
driving.
no.
No, and he's just like, I bet you ever seen better driving than this, right? He goes, no, 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 because he sucks at driving. It's like, get wrecked. Like that was fun little like you needed to lighten the mood, and also Jeff Bridges, man. Like it's hard to like when he does a lot of no's and whatever. Like he has this like those emotional moments. It's hard, but it's Jeff Bridges. He's too cool. Like he's just too cool. I don't get it. But anyway.
Yeah, when he first meets it and starts asking it questions, and he's like, "Great, someone else have to babysit." He's like,
Yes, 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 yes. Or like as another mouth to feed. I remember
"Yeah,
saying,
yeah, something like that."
yeah, it's like great, another mouth to feed. Yes, yes, yes. Am I your program? Yes. Like, don't you have to talk to your program? No. Like, yeah. But more things like that were kind of like, aha, this is computer stuff. Like, that's funny. Like, these other like just fun little like ways to conceptualize the computer, and maybe these days that's like some like how people grew up like they got to understand computers a bit more when just like oh the program is meant to do this one thing and then they kind of like you know get it anthropomorphized or not but I mean if anything the games were cool like that's what kind of like got a lot of people into it anyway were just the games like, light cycle and the disc wars and stuff so
And definitely, this movie you could tell was a huge inspiration for a show that I watched a lot when I was younger that came out 12 years later called Reboot.
1994
Yeah, so if any of you listening have watched that show and then rewatched this movie, you'll see a lot of similarities. That was the first fully CGI TV show that was made, and it's a similar vibe where everything takes place inside a mainframe of a computer, and it's like a whole city with characters and people that living in it, similar
Yeah,
to
those programs are meant to
to the
like
programs in
play
this movie.
games with the user. So it's like incoming game, and like the game would show up, and it'd be like a random game. But he's right. Like there's definitely like a whole like Tron inspired reboot easily. Like you
And the
had
CGI even in Reboot is very reminiscent of like some of the designs from this
very
movie, but
geometric,
obviously,
very cubes.
yeah, but more updated. But you could tell that the people that came up with that show, they were very much influenced by this movie.
Yeah, like even some of like the other characters were like bits and bytes too. So like it helped to kind of get an idea of it. There was no program in Tron named Bob.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Would
If
have
you
been
if you
OP.
like if you like
Throwback
computer
technology
jokes
stuff.
and just like funny references and technology stuff, I highly recommend Reboot. Very fun show, super cool. Wish there were more seasons, but I'm sure you could find it
Don't
somewhere. I think
Also
there's a YouTube channel
don't
that
watch
shows
whatever
it.
was on Netflix.
Oh yes, please no. They
Don't
tried
ever watch
rebooting
that.
it on Netflix. Don't watch that.
They tried to reboot for like live action. Don't ever watch that. Like give me more Tron stuff. Don't give me live action reboot. Like that's what I want. That's if you take anything from away from this is hey, Tron's a cool movie to watch. It's a throwback to the 80s. It gives you a good like kind of an idea so that when you watch Tron Legacy, you're like, oh, okay, I get the aesthetic, but just now it's modernized and very cool looking. And then hopefully after we talk about Tron Legacy next time, we'll get right into watching. We'll get to have watched Tron Ares and then see how it holds up.
What was the
But
budget for this movie?
it's 17 million
That's not that bad. That's pretty
for
even for
82
back
though.
then. I mean, for back then, it's not like crazy
And
expensive. It's kind of like probably like a normal movie budget, maybe slightly higher than normal movie
Yeah,
budget.
17 million.
But
yeah,
if
and
it's understandable because 20 minutes was they used CGI that hadn't really been used before, so
Yeah, it's like
kind of
again
makes sense.
pioneering movie film tech. It's funny. Apparently, it was disqualified for the Oscars for best like visual effects because they thought using computers was cheating.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, that was nuts. Fun story.
There's a lot of practical effects, probably more so than the CGI. So
Yeah, that's why I was like, dude, how can you say that? Like, I kind of want to save this for next time, but do you guys want to know what the budget was for Tron Legacy? So take the 17
more than
million from
100.
82 and add a zero.
Damn.
Yeah.
But it definitely
Add-
made a lot more though too.
It did make a lot more. So freaking cool. All right. I can't
and
wait.
it only looks a tad better. So boo,
Just a little bit.
just a little better.
Look at just a little bit better. But boy, does it sound great. I just gotta say that.
That's also just a little bit better. Not too much
Yeah.
was different.
Yeah. That's too good.
Yeah, they just
Man,
remade a lot
guys.
of the same songs.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for listening in. It's a nice quick little drop of an episode for a throwback.
Do we recommend it?
Do I recommend it? I mean, I'll let Zach answer that question. See where
Should
he's
it
at.
be put on
That-
on someone's watch list?
That is a tough question to answer
Oh damn!
because
All right.
because I mean it's my first time watching it and I'm kind of like there's some things that I really like, some things that I'm like it is kind of dated, like depending on the the viewer themselves, like depending on what they like, I probably I don't know. That's tough to say.
Well, for
Yeah.
you,
I'm like
for you
50-50.
personally, would you recommend it? Like, did you like it?
I kind of liked it.
Good for you. You
I
should
kind of
like
liked
it.
it.
Good. All right.
Yeah, man. Like it's good to at least to me, like my answer is you should watch at least just to like for the cultural like significance of it and to realize that man, like that was the beginning of like movies or like the kind of like forefront for a lot of other things that are going on with that movies were going to end up having. So, and I thought the aesthetics is really cool, and Jeff Bridges is too cool. Also,
Agree.
there you go. Cool. Danny,
Yeah,
any
I
last
would
thoughts?
recommend
Yeah, I'm also kind of like with Zach 50-50 on it. I mean, I guess it depends. I say more so like with UX where like because of the time and like the impact that the movie made and like the tech, like if you want to see about that, like definitely go watch it. And also if you kind of want to see the difference between this and Tron Legacy, but maybe definitely doesn't hit for everyone, I feel. Um it is kind of dated in a way, but that's part of the charm, I guess, looking back at it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good answer to that. So, listeners and viewers, if you feel the same way, or if you feel that this is just straight up hokey old trash, or the only thing you know about Tron is that cool ride at Disney, and you don't know what the heck we're talking about, go ahead and give it a watch. It's a fun little hour and a half you can kind of kill. Uh, like I said, the super ultra like 4K versions are now out on streaming, so give that a
it.
shot
Actually,
to look
it
at.
looks really nice, by the way, in
Yeah,
4K for
I
a
watched it on
movie
my
that came
TV. It
out in
looks great.
'82. Yeah,
Yeah, dude. That's why, like Anthony said, like a lot of it was like staged practically, so you could see. Zach was talking about like how that rotoscoping and that the lighting works. Like for better for worse, like you could see a lot of the detail on some things. But with that, everybody, I will leave you with a little known fact that I read recently about the movie. Is apparently Jeff Bridges was the only actor where he had to end up wearing a dancing belt because his bulge was too big. Leave that for your trivia for
he
you.
was
Yep.
showing his fin too much.
His Flynn too much, you
His
mean?
fin, yeah.
You could say it was his recognizer. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Until next time, take it easy. Fight for the users.
Later.
Later.
End of line.